to be honest. But I saw I would say I saw tomorrow, right? Because I felt like if I'm getting paid this peanut doing just posting, just tweeting, just posting on socials, then there's more to this, right? So that was how I started this entire thing. And then with time, I realized that I can also, run an agency, because I run an agency that focuses on influencer marketing, digital marketing, and also talent management. And some of our talent, it's mentioned, Broda Shaggi, Layi Tayo I know, Derek Niger Girl, Tomike African Dentist, a couple of people, right? So now, we now focus on managing content creators. But the journey hasn't been easy since like 2014, 15.
Got it. That's you actually took the words out of my mouth there, because it's like, what I'm hearing is that you've gone through different stages and phases, right? You started as a creator yourself, and I think the bridge that a lot of people struggle to cross is, how do you go from being just a creative to actually being a business person? How do you monetize your creativity? And so I'm curious to hear from your point of view. You said it wasn't a straight road. So what were actually the challenges that you faced, when starting Pensaville? Was it back in 2015?
2015, yeah.
Yeah, so over almost 10 years ago now. What were the challenges that you faced?
At the time, like I said, influencer wasn't a thing. So I would say that we're not being paid as much as now. So at the time, we're just getting. It wasn't an industry. There was no industry called influencer industry or anything. So we get into events, more like crash into events, take videos, pictures, and then post on our platform. So we didn't have that platform, right, to showcase what we've got. So one of the challenges was that we were the ones looking for, against now where brands are the one looking for influencers and looking for content creators, right? And also the money wasn't coming as it's coming now, to be honest. So I would say, and then we were not getting to the right rooms at the time. We're not, I wouldn't say we're not welcome to the rooms, but the influencer industry wasn't huge at the time. So when they're having major events, they don't think about influencers at the time. They naturally just think about the traditional media, the TV, the radio, and all of that. And even blogging too wasn't very huge when we started. So those are the few challenges that we got. And then when I started running an agency, I was very particular about content creators creating genuine content and creating content that would stand the test of time. I was very particular about even images. If you say you're a travel vlogger or blogger, and then you travel, you're not posting like images that would attract like likes and all of that. Even your videos, even before people started talking about thumbnails and all of that, I was very particular about the cover and all of that. So I would say that I was I've always been very intentional about what I put out, and then the same thing when I started running an agency. But at the time, everybody was just creating anything that comes to their mind, right? There was no structure. There was no, the kind of material that they put out wasn't very neat, I'll use the word. So I think those are the challenges. But now, everybody, Gen Zs are here, they know what it is when it comes to content, and they know how good it should look.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, right? I think right now, I guess when you started and where we are now is completely different, right?
It's completely different. That's about 9 years ago.
A massive explosion of creators. People are still coming onto the platform daily. And so, if anything, it's quite a concentrated and a competitive landscape at the moment. So you work with creators more in an advisory capacity now. So what advice would you give to some aspiring creators who are just beginning their journey and in the early stages of their journey? How do they build a brand identity that stands out in this competitive landscape?
So first thing I would say to you is that you need to, I'm sure that you've heard, because the panel session, I was part of it, and so I heard a lot of things that they said. But again, I would say to you that you need to have your own unique voice, your unique selling point. What makes you different from other creators? When I started managing Broda Shaggi, in 2017. And at the time, he was doing different kind of content. He was creating, he was doing Akoni Badon, doing all sort of content. And then he tried the street urchin character, which was Broda Shaggi. And then it blew up, it became viral. And that made it very unique, because again, at the time, nobody was doing that kind of content. Everybody wanted, maybe I would use the word fresh content or whatever. So he started doing, playing the role of Admiral. But again, whoever I've met Broda Shaggi here would know that he's a very different persona. He has a very different persona rather than compared to the character that he's playing. So, but over time, he has genuinely and consistently made you guys believe that this is who he is, right? And it made him stand out. Same thing with other content creators that we've managed, like Layi, for example. When we brought him from Osogbo to Lagos, we had to tell him that he should focus on the law, right? Because there were other characters he was doing. He was doing GSCC, he was doing officer, he was doing different characters. He was even doing those characters that wear wig, that would be acting like a woman. And we told him, he said, the law was what made him unique. And again, he studied law, and the kind of ways that he was, playing the character was so different. So we told him to just focus on that. So first thing is, you need to look at the industry that you play in. You need to find your niche, and you need to stay focused on that. And also, you need to be very consistent. I'm sure you've heard that over and over. But consistency is very key, because it gets to some point that you're posting your content on YouTube, but you're not getting likes enough, you're not getting views, you're not getting enough money, right? But I think that you need to, first of all, pick your passion. It is what you like to do, whether or not there is money. Because if you start with how much they make there, oh, I'm going to join YouTube because everybody's making money on YouTube, I think that you get to a point where you just get discouraged and you stop. So you need to first of all understand that this is my passion, this is what I genuinely want to do, and then I can pick it up. Tomike is one of our talent. She was off for a while because she needed to, she had to go for childbirth and all of that. And then she came back, and Tomike is everywhere now. So, because genuinely she loves what she's doing. So I think that these are a few things that you need to look out for. And also, you also need to ensure that you collaborate in the industry. You cannot stand alone. Nobody can stand alone. Shaggi had a stage play on Sunday, and he had several skit makers and content creators act with him on stage. That's power of collaboration. So I think that a few of these things are what you need to look out for as a creator.
We get a round of applause for that. And I think actually what you're saying is really interesting, because you spoke about consistency, right? But not necessarily. We often hear consistency framed in the context of uploading more videos on the platform. But what you're also saying is consistency to build a brand identity, right? To reinforce that brand identity, and that's how people.
Because this is who you are. For example, if you look at Diary of a Kitchen Lover, right? A lot of people have been doing cooking content, right, on YouTube for a while. But she came from another angle, and the angle she came in from was that, you know what, you guys are cooking, no problem, but I want to show you where the food is made. I want to show you the kitchen, right? And that is why she started, a page, right, a channel. And if you look at her content, you can tell that much more than the food, she's also particular about the space. That is why if you look at, she recently just launched her own kitchen, and you can see the intentionality in it. So over time, you need to constantly reinforce who you are, because that's what makes you different.
I guess, again, let's go back, let's talk a little bit about money and brand deals. You're in a unique position.
Yeah, elaborate.
You're in a unique position where you really you've supported a lot of content creators and helped them to secure some pretty lucrative and high-profile brand collaborations. And so, can you just share a few examples of those collaborations?
I mean, if you ask me to share examples, there are a lot of examples, but I think that, first off, from all our talent, from Broda Shaggi to Layi to Tomike to all of them, so maybe I'll just pick randomly, maybe I will pick Shaggi, for example, right? So for Shaggi, Broda Shaggi currently is like the most signed ambassador, right, to several brands in the industry at the moment. He's got brands in almost all the industries, right? But what I'm very particular about has been that he's not just an ambassador to any brand, he's an ambassador to brands that fit into the character that he plays. So for example, if you look at Bed King, I'm not doing promo here, but I mean, if you look at Bed King, Shaggi is that street guy that you can sell to people on the street to say, you know what, come and play bet because of Shaggi, right? If you look at Odogu Bitters, same thing. If you look at Predator Energy Drink, Shaggi is that energetic guy that is very energetic even in his content and all of that. And Predator Energy Drink is an energy drink. So if you look at different, even Globacom is one of the most consistent brand ambassadors for years now. They've been engaging him since like 2019. And the reason why he's still an ambassador to Glow is because he's got a huge fan base across Nigeria. So Broda Shaggi is not just the actor that is like Lagos based, right? If you look at the stats, you can see that he has like fan base across board. So for somebody like that, we walk into the room and have conversations with the brand and explain to them that, you know what, we know that you might need a brand ambassador, but this guy is the perfect fit for you. You know, so we show you stats, show you the back end, and explain to you why both brands would align. Same thing with Layi Wasabi. Currently, is the ambassador to MTN Momo. Same thing, right? And if you look at Layi Wasabi's content, you can tell that most of his content are very cerebral because Layi Wasabi is very cerebral with his content. So the kind of brands that approach him are like fintechs, like banks, like serious brands, right? That's not to say that some brands are unserious, but again, we are very particular about the brands that you work with or you align with or the partnerships that we secure. So for me, all the deals that we've signed for our brand ambassadors, for our talent rather, I would say that they are very in sync with them. Yeah. So yeah.
Got it. And you, can we get a round of applause, please? And I guess like what you touched on there is what are some of actually, because before we were talking about in the context of a creator understanding their video performance and things like that. So what are some of the metrics or things that some of those brands might actually be looking for when working with the content creator?
So I tell people that, to be honest with you, it's not about your numbers every time, it's about the brand. It's about the brand you built for yourself. And brand is not logo, it's not website. The brand is you. And then over time, over the period of time, you would have built a certain brand identity for yourself. And then this is what the brands will look out for. Kotti was saying here how she's made a lot of money, right? We're in London, was it like 3 months ago with Thames, and we were in the same room with Thames, Kotti, I was with Layi Wasabi. We took him there for a media tour, right? Now, Kotti gets into some rooms that you wonder, how did she get here? It's not like she has most numbers, right? But again, she's built a brand for herself that people want to align with, and that's what you need to think about. It is not about the numbers. It's not about the followers or how many subscribers. It's good, right, for monetization and all of that. But I think that if you build a respectable brand, right, a brand that people have come to love, and you need to have your niche. You need to have the people that, like, more like your target audience that will listen to you, that are your people, your community. And I feel like when you have your community, brands will definitely reach out to you because they know what they want, right? So, for example, I'm going to pick my talents, right? So we also manage Diary of a Niger Girl, right, Ife, and Ife also, she has her own target audience and her own community. She's built a community. Same thing with Tomike. She's built her own community. They call her Olori Ebi. Now, those kind of people, right? They've built a community that is off the platform. It's off the numbers that they have on social media. And then brands definitely will reach out to them because they also want to tap into the community. So I think that building a brand is very important. Number two is, now that you're a brand, now that people love you, brands want to engage you. The question now is, how well do you perform? How well do you if they engage you, are you sure that you're going to deliver? Because a lot of content creators out there, I mean, not mentioning names, brands engage them, and the next thing is, I'm sorry, I'm going to do the content tomorrow. I'm going to publish it. I'm sorry. These brands might definitely not come back. That's if they don't sue you. So I think that you also need to ensure that as you're building your brands now, when you get to that point where you're not getting the money, the question is, are you delivering?
Wow. Are you delivering? Wow.
Are you delivering?
No, it's a good point, and I want to open up to the audience for questions. But before we get there, I wanted to just touch very quickly on what you said. So naturally, a lot of creators, sometimes there's always that question of, you know, you're working alone. Sometimes you're working in a vacuum, and then you might consider, actually, at what point do I start to work with a creator management company? But I'm curious from your point of view, right? When you mentioned some of the names that, you know, some of the biggest and the best creators in Nigeria, Tomike, Layi Wasabi, Broda Shaggi, and the list goes on. So what are some of the traits, the common traits that you look for when deciding to work with a content creator?
So I was speaking to someone yesterday, and somebody asked me that, oh, do I want to sign her and all of that? And I said to her, I said, at this point, it's not. I don't think that you need to look for management, especially if you're an upcoming creator. Ensure that you are building your brand, because again, it gets to a point where when the time is right, the management will see you, they will find you. I've said it everywhere how I've mentioned it everywhere how we saw Layi Wasabi in Oshobo. I didn't know him from anywhere, right? And he didn't reach out to say, oh, please come and manage me. We saw him and we said, come to Lagos, right? And then there was something that we saw in him, and that's what I'm going to mention. So we saw that this guy is very versatile. This guy has range. This guy has passion for what he's doing, because essentially it wasn't like he was making money while he was in Oshobo. Now he's making money anyways. But at the time, he wasn't making anything. I mean, I won't say anything, but he wasn't making money. So it wasn't about the money, but it was about I would use the word the talent, right? And also the USB. I saw something different in him that not like anybody, not like there was no creator that was creating something around what Layi Wasabi is doing, but it was such a different talent and such a different direction. So for me, if I'm going to manage anybody, I need to see that I can work with you for the next 10 years. If you can evolve into different things. Because much more than you're creating content for Instagram, you're creating content for YouTube and all of that, the question now is what happens in the next 5 years? 5 years is even long. In the next 1 year or 2 years, when maybe you've blown and then it drops. What happens, right? So I need to see that you have the range to evolve into different things. So that's number 2, right? Number 3 is I'm very careful managing people that think that they've arrived. So I've got content creators that come to me and say, I've done this by myself. So I know that if I come to people will do more. So please, what can you do for me? You know, I've done all of this, and I'm like, continue doing all of that, right? I work with people who are humble, who literally just say, this is me. How can we work together? So those are a few things that we look out for, and then I also need to see the power of. I think I've mentioned. I think that's what it is basically. You just need to give me a vibe of somebody that can evolve into different things. Someone that can twist and can change, and you can also listen. To be honest, because if we're having power tussle, then they can't be too captain in the ship. So for me, first off, everybody has talent. Everybody is a creative. I'm a creative, you're a creative, but I need to see something that people are not seeing, and I need to bring that out. When we went to the UK for media tour with Layi, even me, I was amazed because I knew that he had UK audience, but I didn't know it was that huge. We got into London, and then this guy was speaking British, and I'm like, from Oshobo, how? But what I saw in Layi before I brought him to Lagos was what he showed me in UK. I saw that range that this guy is made to be a superstar beyond the shores of Nigeria. So when we went to UK, we were going on podcast and all of that, and he was speaking British. We were asking him, like British guys were asking him, have you been here before? He said, no, this is the first trip out of Nigeria. Wow, you know. But I saw that, he knew their songs, he knew their artists, he knew all of these things. I never met him before he came to Lagos, but I saw that this guy was deep. I saw the depth. That's why we also tried to get him on TEDx platforms, speaking engagement and all that, because I could see that much more than being a skit maker or content creator, there was much more. So for me, that is what I look out for. And also, like I mentioned, don't be money, if you are too money driven, then we'll be fine. Because you will make the money. But if you come to me and say, hey, so how much? Don't worry, just...
All right, can we give another round of applause to that? All right, so we're going to take a few questions from the audience. Aka, do you mind helping us out? Yes? I can see Aka looking at you. Aka, can we get a few questions from the audience, please? Does anyone have